She is a specialist on addictive behaviors. She joins us again on Memphis Morning News. It's our pal, Veronica Sites, joining us. Veronica, we're here with our caffeine this morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
It's great to have you back on the broadcast this morning. And the question that is being posed out there, and we posed on our show this morning, what do people crave more, chocolate, alcohol, or Wi-Fi? At least generally speaking. I know at the end of the day, one may take precedence over the other.
Alcohol and chocolate could win out at the end of the day, but I think with so many underage people among us, it's got to be the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi seems to be the thing that people convulse over if you suggest that they disconnect from.
What is it about this fear of missing out, this FOMO we hear so much about? Adults can't put their phone down, kids can't put their phone down for 5 seconds thinking they're going to miss out on something, whether it's Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, or something in between.
Yeah, I mean, the age at which kids are getting phones now is younger and younger, and that only is conditioning behavior that does become addictive. I work with a lot of teenagers, and it's amazing to me how many of them have never turned their phone off since they've gotten it. I mean, this can be years, not turned it off. They don't even know where the on-off button is, literally.
That's our fault, this generation, right?
That's pretty indicative of a behavior that becomes so habitual that, it does do something to the brain. I mean, as far as any type of addiction. But, this particular study had to do with Wi-Fi. And, when a kid can't afford to pay their own phone bill and their own data plans, then, yes, they're looking for, Wi-Fi places. Where can they do it for free where they're, not going to have to hear the parents say, hey, you're using too many minutes or those type of things.
Well, we dread that moment when the text comes and says, you've used 75% of your data. And then we all pretend that we're going to be in a Wi-Fi place. And then we get the one that said, for $15 more, we've just added this. And then, if there's too many days with 4 of us on the same plan, we have often gone over if we haven't had enough rollover minutes. And, you do seek out the Wi-Fi, but sometimes you got to tell your kids, put the phone down. And I left out some choice words there, but it's like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, because we don't use landlines like once they were used, and so many people are doing everything technology, that's one of the things that as parents, it's imperative that, one, we recognize if your child cannot afford to pay the phone bill, definitely train them in what it is that they need to be aware of is part of owning a phone. And part of owning the phone is you need to disconnect from it from time to time, because the conversations don't need to be you went over your data plan. It needs to be face-to-face on a positive note, because, I want to put this in there because so oftentimes with these kids disconnect from the social engagement face-to-face because so much is negative. And by the time they're graduated, they will have heard 150,000 negative no's. But if you'll take time to tell them the benefits of being offline, then they're going to hear more positive. And detrimentally, they only hear about 5 to 19,000 positives by the time they graduate. So, reasonably, they want to disconnect from the negativity, but then they don't realize they're getting themselves right back into it.
It's really great points because, we are looking at, I guess, would be the first generation of this type of addiction. And as a parent, because this is a new phenomenon, many parents, especially like myself, haven't been really trained or conditioned to temper this in kids. Growing up for Sherry and Karen and I, our version of Wi-Fi to be able to, hang out and talk with everybody was to go over to the street corner and meet at 4:30 in the afternoon and chat. So this is a brand new phenomenon for us. And I guess it does pose its own kind of challenges. And Veronica, we thank you for joining us this morning on Memphis Morning News.